Hello everybody, this is Yoko's Anime Reactions, and I know I have not worked on videos in forever, and I need to get back in the swing of things, but, it's a little hard to start getting back in the swing of things when you haven't been working on it for a bit. And, this is going to be my review for Kaguya-sama Love is War, Episode 7. There was 3 different things in this. I don't quite remember the last one. I think that was involving Shirogane wanting to be in the volleyball team or something. I can't remember, but anyway, the first one, that guy from before that was crushing on the girl and wanting advice from Shirogane about love, he comes to him again, even though obviously, they thought that everything was okay with them working with charity. Or, working with charities. Turns out he wants to be able to hold her hand, but he has no idea how to even go about doing it. It's, very simple. Whenever you're walking to class, or actually, no, not class, because, the whole PDA thing. Maybe when they're out and about outside of school, just reach over, take her hand. It's that simple. Sure, you gotta if you're nervous, you gotta get through that. Because usually, when it comes to me, if I really want to do something, but I'm obviously very nervous or anxious about doing it, especially when it comes to the whole relationship thing, I will freeze up. I want to do it. I keep telling myself, do it, do it, do it, but my body won't move. But yeah, you just gotta keep working at it until you finally do it. But Shirogane just, whatever, how do you say his name? Let me know, is it Shirogane or Shirogane? Because I'm assuming it's Shirogane because everybody complains about how the narrator says his name. Let me know. Anyway, he makes a whole big spectacle of it, and while this is going on, Kaguya is watching all this going on in the closet behind them. So yeah, anyway, he makes a whole big deal out of it. That, in order to be able to do it, he sets up, he is talking about a little date thing for them, but he didn't talk about anything, like going to the park, or going to a museum, or something. No, he's talking about renting out a cruiser, taking her out to sea to watch the sunset, and then doing it. I'm like, Jesus, man, there's no need to go above and beyond on this one. Even if his family is rich, that doesn't mean he has to go all out all the time. And, he ends up talking about he wants to, but his hands are very sweaty when he does it, and nobody wants to hold a sweaty hand. And I kind of agree with that, but you gotta work at it. I'm sure there are ways you can, work on that. If you look up online, obviously. But, Shirogane was talking about how he's gonna need surgery. Oh, wait, never mind, hang on, I almost forgot something. When he was talking about the cruiser thing, he was talking about how he'd have to get a small boating license, and he tells him how to do it, and the reason he knows so much about it is because he did it himself, and it cost, I think, what was it, 100,000 yen to get that? I'm like, dude. I don't remember how much it is, like, converting yen to the dollar, but surely that's a nice chunk of change right there, even if it's like $100 or something. I don't know. No, actually, I think it'd probably be, shoot. If I remember correctly, like, 8 million yen is supposed to be, what, $80,000, I think, if I'm remembering it correctly? So divide that by 10, it would be probably, what, $8,000? So it should be probably, what, $1,000? Seriously, you could put that in a savings account if you're so adamant about when it comes to money. Because this guy is poor. He's the only commoner in that whole school as far as I know, and thus he doesn't have a whole lot of money, and he has a job. At least one job, anyway. So why not put a the money in a savings account or a, dang it, what were the other ones you could do? Not a savings bond, because you have to wait, like, what, 6 years to be able to get the full amount that you paid on it? Certificate of deposit, I think that's one of them. Essentially put some money in an account that has high interest and just let it sit there. Let it sit there for 10 years or so, at least until you graduate college, and then see how much you got. But no, he spent all that time and money when he could have been saving that money and using that time for work or whatever into a small boating license when he might never get on a dang boat in his life. Seriously, why would you do that? Anyway, he keeps on telling this guy, you know, you need to get a job, get a job, get a job, get a job. I'm like, yes, a job would be good in the long run, not just when it comes to relationships, that you can, you know, have your own money to be able to pay for dates and stuff or whatever in the future, but a job in general where you can start saving up money. Even if his family is rich, that doesn't mean he has access to that money. So yeah, getting a job and having your own money will help you in the long run, especially if you do something to cut yourself off from your family's wealth. Or if they decide that they're not going to give you any money when you get out of high school or something, because I'm sure that there are families out there that will do that. So yeah, having a job for yourself and earning your own money while you're in school is a good thing. Save it up, that way you have yourself a little safety net just in case. But he's talking about getting a job to get a surgery, and I'm like, dude, he does not need surgery. Even if it's a medical condition to have really sweaty hands, that's not something that's life-threatening. And I can't remember what the reason was, but I'm assuming he was so adamant about getting this guy a job is because he probably gets a bonus or something for getting new people to come in. I don't know. Anyway, Shinomiya comes in and finds Kaguya in the closet. Thankfully, he had no idea that she was in there, or else this could have gotten very awkward very fast. And she essentially told them that essentially it's just willpower to be able to hold the girl's head, even despite the sweaty hand thing. And he was like, well, what about a job? He's like, irrelevant for that situation. And, yeah, it shows them going and holding hands. I'm like, see, that wasn't that bad. And then for some reason, there's a girl watching them, and she's upset. I'm like, who is this girl, and why is she watching them? Could somebody tell me, please? Anyway, him and Ishigami are working on the budget for, you know, the school, and they're having to cut out on the budget and stuff. And Ishigami starts talking about essentially how clubs are a waste of time, but they're there essentially to keep teens from going and doing, you know, becoming delinquents, going down the wrong path, you know, having sex and getting pregnant and stuff. I mean, that kind of makes sense. But it's not the whole reason that clubs exist, because there are clubs out there that people are really passionate about, like hobbies, activities, and stuff. Or there are things that they are interested in that could possibly help them with college, too, like all the sports clubs. Anyway, Ishigami decides, you know, let's cut the budget on the soccer club, the basketball club, the baseball club. And I'm like, why? What about them? And it turns out that he says that all the people there have girlfriends. And I'm like, so? And he was like, and Shogani was like, why? And it turns out that he was getting mad about the fact that they have girlfriends. At first I thought, well, do you want a girlfriend or something? Because it seems like seemed like where he was going with this, because it seemed like he was jealous that all these guys had girlfriends and he didn't. But no, it turns out because he had seen, I guess, one of the people in one of the clubs, and he was turning down his girlfriend for going out and spending time together because he had practice for a tournament, and it seemed like he was never around her, essentially. So essentially, he's trying to get them to cut down on the clubs like that, so that way the guys have more time to spend with their ladies. I'm like, yeah, probably a good idea. Because if you can't spend time with your significant other on a decent amount of basis, then that's not really a relationship. I just attacked myself on that one. Yeah, my relationship is kind of like that, where I don't spend enough time with my fiancé, and that's actually not my fault. It's kind of more his fault, but whatever. Anyway, they start going on about, the sports stuff, and it turns out that I guess Shurigan is wanting to, is in the volleyball team and is needing some help. So he asked Shinomiya about it to help him. And actually, before, I think this was after that, but before that little plot, Ishigami starts talking about the archery club. And, shoot. I can't remember. Who was it? Kaguya on the archery club already? I think she is. I think. I can't remember, but anyway, he ends up talking about how archery is only really good when it comes to women, with women who think it was, dang it. If I could remember who was already on the archery team, I could finish this dang thought, because it involves your chest. It can't if you have a big chest, then you're having a hard time with archery, or if you have a small chest, you have an easier time with archery. And he was all ranting about this, about how, dang it, whoever was the one who was in the archery club had gotten so excited about being able to pick up a bow because when it comes to their chest, and the funny thing is that the girls were right behind him when he was saying this, and I was like, and me and Shurigani was like, dude, stop talking, and he ends up insulting both girls, and when they pop up behind him, Shinomiya ends up smacking him around with a folded up piece of paper, and he's lucky that Kaguya didn't get him, because who knows what she would have done to him. But yeah, that was kind of well deserved on that one. Anyway, yeah. Tell me how to say it, guys. Is the narrator right, or is it the other way? Anyway, he wants to be able to do well on the volleyball team, and he asks Shinomiya for some help. She goes to help him, and he finds out that he can't serve. He can't do it at all, essentially. He tries, and he fails. And while I was watching him trying, I kept on seeing him with his eyes closed when he was doing it. I'm like, dude, open your eyes. Why are you have your eyes closed? Then you can see the ball. And after some training to do it, he finally was able to serve. And I can't remember if that was the only issue he had, or I don't think that was the only issue, because I think he asked her for help in something else right as a big tournament was coming up, and she was like, I'm done. And she left. So yeah, definitely interesting set of interesting plots in this episode. Let me know what your thoughts are on things that popped up that I didn't mention, because that would be great. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.